right, it's been a minute. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever this message finds you. I do hope that you are happy, healthy, and well. This is a timeless message, so if this message is just finding you, there may be a message for you at this time. This is also a general collective. This is an intuitive reading. I do have my oracle tarot cards in the background. There's two decks that I use sometimes during these readings. I kind of just shuffle as I feel called to, and sometimes as I'm doing my intuitive reading, the cards act as confirmations or maybe messages for certain individuals. Also, my dog in the background. I use the Angels and Auras Oracle and as well the Journey Oracle, which are both relatively new to me, but I am finding them to be quite informative in terms of confirmations and feeling very in tune with them. So I hope that you do enjoy them. If something pops up, I'll be sure to let you know. But again, I do hope this finds you happy, healthy, and well. So as I have been called into different ways to receive my downloads, right, to sharpen my intuition, my gifts, I used to and still do use tarot, but I've been really called into other ways, right? Just not using tarot and oracle, but to really tap into kind of that field of knowing. So, I feel like I use myself as an example a lot, but what I really do feel in the field of knowing, right? The reason the field of knowing even exists is because it's a conscious collective. It's like a spider web. It's like when one part moves, another part jiggles and it trickles down. So, as these things are happening to me, I also understand that it's also happening collectively, which, again, time being fluid, this is a timeless message. So I find it so fascinating, and you might also recognize or, resonate with the thought of finding tarot readings or oracle readings if that's something that you're into. Obviously, maybe if you're here, that is something that you're into. That would be stating the obvious, but intuitive messages in whatever form of divination, because divination comes in so many things. There's runes, there's tarots, there's people, divination is there's so many different ways that there's dowsing, there's beautiful ways that have traditionally been passed down. I Ching, divination, prayer, right? It's all just that intuitive field of knowing. So I say all of this to say, and I say that term a lot, but I just got myself saying it for the first time right now. Whatever it is, whether you practice your own art of divination, and even prayer, right? Prayer, meditation, whatever it is that you believe in, whatever higher vibrational energy. I believe that I use myself as an example because, well, we're collectively all on this journey. So often in these examples of how I receive my downloads, I know that this is not specific to me. I know that there is someone out there who, whether this is something that has already happened, is currently happening, or will happen too. I do find it fascinating that oftentimes some of my favorite readers, readings that will resonate with me in the sense of the present, will sometimes be from weeks, days, even years ago that are relevant today for me on my timeline now. And that's always been such a fascinating thought. So again, I know that my journey is not specific to me, but that we all are on these different timelines. So wherever you are on your timeline, I use myself as an example, and I use what I experience not because this is a me, this is an us, this is a we situation. So however this resonates, as I tell these stories, I need you to put yourself, whether I'm talking about gender, these are not gender specific. When I speak of masculine or feminine, these intuitive downloads that I get are not gender specific. Energy is, masculine and feminine polarities and energies within all of us. So always take what applies to you in your specific situation and leave the rest, and understand that you need to, these are metaphorical stories, right? So what happens to me, what I experience, and how I translate that to try and fit the collective experience, you're still going to have to take that and understand, and using discernment, whether that is actually for you, if it's something that you already know to be true, or if it's something that sits with you in in a way that resonates. But if something doesn't feel good, the one thing I've learned within this spiritual community is that it might not be for you. If it does not feel good in your heart, in your soul, then it's okay to turn it off, right? No judgment, no shade. I love you all the same. But discernment is so important in everything we do, right? If something doesn't sound good, and this is even kind of part of the message that I'm getting right now, outside of what I picked up on my nature walk, which is where I do get a lot of my downloads recently. And I love that. And I'm so grateful to Spirit for, that opportunity to tap into nature and to be able to receive that so freely and willingly, and to be open to that visual experience of the senses. But what was I just about to say? Divination, using discernment with all things. Oh, right. Okay, so knowing when and what feels right to you. Since COVID happened, others might have a similar experience, but when COVID happened, I turned off my television, and I don't like metaphor. Like, I turned off my television and I never really turned it back on. Compared to, like, I do watch like movies with my son, and of course, if there's a TV show that really has to like resonate with me on a soul level, but I can't just watch. I used to what I would call, say, mindless television stuff, just to fill my time with these distractions, right? It's like OPD, like other people's drama. Like, I was addicted to that because I was so in a state, and this might resonate for you, whoever you are, right? This might resonate for you in that sense of like really no longer being interested in the other people's dramas, because it's like that was stopping me from having to look at my own drama, and I had plenty of my own to work on. So, this idea that I can immerse myself in other people's storylines, whether they were, fiction or nonfiction, or even just like with people, like, since COVID happened, there's been this massive reset energetically and collectively, where we're really being called into 717, as I say that. Looking inward and taking that really beautiful dive in to start to peel away that I'm seeing like an onion in my mind, right? Stuff that makes us cry, that brings a tear to our eye. And sometimes those tears, all tears are healing. If it conjures that emotion, you're already in the healing process, right? You've allowed that emotion to come to the surface. So kudos to you if that's something you've been going through lately. It's something I've been going through for years, and I continue. I think that I always used to. One of the things that I've learned about myself in the short, I guess time is irrelevant, right? So time is the illusion. I wouldn't say it's irrelevant. That's not what I wanted to say. Actually, time is the illusion. So what I have learned as of recently, and what I continue to unravel, and what I continue to learn about myself, and maybe this will resonate with someone out there. Confirmation from my sweet pup. It's almost like exhausting, right? She was like yawning, and she's actually got a lot of energy right now, but that was a yawn. So it's like that exhausting energy. Is that my kindness is not to be confused as my weakness. That's one thing I've learned about myself. That healthy boundaries, right? What this may resonate for you, that healthy boundaries are a form of love, in self-love and in self-care energy. And that my ability to be empathetic, to feel emotion, to have this caring sense about me, again, not to be confused as my weakness. It's, kindness, my empathy is not a weakness. In fact, it is one of my greatest strengths, but it's been used to weaponize against me, or I gave the people or the persons the power to do so without having those healthy boundaries. So whether this is something that resonates with you now, or something that will, or currently is, just know that this is the ongoing journey that we are on here today collectively. And if you have been on that journey, I commend you. It is not easy. I'm sending you love. I love you. I think you're doing an amazing job. If no one has told you, I think you're doing an amazing job. All right. So I was on this little walk, as I am. And I don't think I had my dog for this one. Sometimes she comes with me, sometimes she doesn't. But this idea, this concept, right, of fear came up. I've been scared shitless lately. And it's so weird because I was like, why am I scared? What am I scared of? What is this sense of fear? So maybe the sense of fear has been something that you've been thinking about, scared. Being scared of what? And as I was thinking about it, it was like, what am I scared of? Like, what is actually scaring me right now? And it was interesting because it was like, I kept thinking of like the boogeyman. It's like, if I was to be asking like my inner child, what are you scared of right now? And they'd be like, oh, the monster in my closet, right? I do have a young son right now. And it'd be like, oh, the monster in my closet. And I was like, no, that's not real, right? That's an illusion. That's something that doesn't actually exist. So I'm asking my inner child, what are you actually scared of right now? And it was interesting because the answer that I got was also an illusion, right? It was also an illusion, and it was like allowing that illusion to create this reality that didn't actually happen yet, or didn't actually exist, to be perfectly honest. Let's see, 2 cards just flew out on the table, on the ground actually, sorry. Yeah, self-respect and worthiness and having confidence. So that's beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. That's going to tie exactly into what I was just thinking. So, or about to get into as I have my notes here from this walk. So, I'm going to double back to these in 2 seconds, and I'll... Here, let me move that. Thank you, Mr. Crystal. Mrs. Crystal, whatever you want to be. Let's see. You go there. Sorry. I would like it if you just wanted to hang out. This is from the Aura and Angels. Of course, there's feminine energy here, but this could be just a masculine, right? Tapping into that feminine energy. This is not gender specific at all. There are masculines in this deck as well. So fear, and really I've been thinking a lot about, and whether it's the season that we're in right now, winter, I think a lot about death, right? As soon as like Dia de los Muertos passes and I'm, honoring my ancestors, and in my own cultural ways, I'm actually, that's not, quote unquote a part of my culture, but as I go to the cemetery during that time when the veil's thin, I love the tradition behind Dia de los Muertos, and I love the colors and the tradition and the beautiful honoring that they do around that time. If you haven't been to a cemetery around that time, it is something to really honor, to really just, it's awe-inspiring in terms of, the love of the afterlife, if you believe in said things. So, I think winter brings a lot of this introspect, because it's chilly. I'm not out doing the things that I normally do, but I still make it out, but not like I do in spring and summer. And so the thought of death, right, mortality has really been on my mind, and I've been like, wow, why am I feeling so morbid? And I think that's part of my fear. Like, it was almost like, what is this? Like, fear of dying, fearing of death. And I've been really trying to wrap my head around that. And as I was on the walk, I got the download. And, this may resonate with you in a certain way. And what I got to as I was asking my child, right, my inner child, like, what are you scared of right now? What is it that are you fearful of, right? That what is this illusion of fear, right? Because fear is the illusion. And I came down to an interesting thought. When I really boiled it down, and as I still continue to do so, the thought that came to mind for me was, I think that I've been thinking a lot about mortality, because it's time. Like, I'm uncomfortable. The thought of that made me uncomfortable, right? I'm wondering, why am I doing that? Why am I thinking about death so much? And not even like, it's not like my death, and it's just death, like things dying, like the sacredness that is life. And of course, death surrounds all of us at certain points, our loved ones, our own, all of it, right? World, collectively. I mean, it's in our reality as a human. And interestingly enough, 1444 is I really feel like it's this old programming, right? Saying goodbye to 2023, and as we enter into this new year, I think that old parts of me are dying, right? Old programming within myself, within you collective, right, is starting to die. It's it's that time, that uncomfortable time as we start to say goodbye to those old versions of ourselves. As you continue to heal, grow on your journey, right? You are pushing past those self-limiting beliefs and understanding that that is the illusion. As you let go of that old programming, as you're being called to let go of that old programming. And that brings us to these beautiful cards that popped up as a confirmation, right? Having the confidence, card number 35 and 25. Interesting, right? Having the confidence, I forgot what side, because they fell on the floor, so I could say that it's ascending, or whether you're taking one step forward and two steps back, or you're quantum leaping. I don't know what side. I forgot to look when I picked it up. It could resonate differently for everyone, right? Whether you're still taking one step forward and, two steps back, you still took a step forward, so that's still progress. Now, also, you could be quantum leaping, wherever you are in your journey, where you're going to fit in that. But, looking at these cards, it's having that self-respect and, the worthiness that, I really have been contemplating deeply as I was on this walk, and what that fear of the old programming was, and having the confidence to really look at that deeper. And as I go back to my notes here, I was thinking about what I was fearful of, and it was letting go of those programming and those old ideas. And it's funny, it brought me to this thought of, and I'll circle back to the self-respect and worthiness because it's going to tie it up for me, but I thought about the idea of falling, right? There's an art to falling. And I know this to be true also when I think of my son. He could be a stuntman at the rate he falls. And he's literally taken falling to an art form where, he's so daring. And I use him as an example because, often, our greatest teachers, thank you, my precious teacher, comes in every form, including most often, young children, our older ancestors, our older loved ones come with such wisdom. Wisdom is ageless. When wisdom is timeless, right? We get wisdom from passed on loved ones who we've never met before. We get wisdom from passed on ascended masters who we've never met before. And then we get wisdom from those that aren't even able to verbalize at a very young age. We get these deep thoughts and introspect because they view the world from a perspective that we have long forgotten. So I often learn stuff, and I will continue and love the fact that I'm able to see and learn as they are able to learn and see from me, how to continue to grow, heal, and evolve. So as I'm viewing my stuntman of a small child, and I've watched him in this journey of throwing his whole body into what he loves to do, right? And there's such a beautiful thing to that. There is the art to falling. And my dad even said this to me, right? I used to love skateboarding as a youngster, and I still do, but now I'm more cautious because, well, I need my body to function, to make things happen, to work. And so falling definitely hurts more these days. So I am a little bit more careful and cautious. Not that I don't love skateboarding. I'm just not throwing my whole body into it like I used to, because as a result of throwing my whole body into it, I've hurt myself quite a few times, given myself black eyes. I've had to take work off for road rash, and really, and had some great adventures without falling, but the few times that I did fall, they definitely left marks that some are internally and some are externally, but whether it was my bruised ego or scars to tell fun stories about, that I'm able to say, thankfully I wasn't too hurt. But and there was lessons behind all of those moves, but there's an art to falling. And my dad always used to say, man, if you fall, just be so careful not to hit your head, right? You can get, broken bones, stitches, all the rest. No, not fun. You can get knees replaced now. I mean, you can practically be bionic, but if you hit your head, that is where stuff can really go bad. So always protect your face, right? Always protect your face, protect your head. And I was thinking about that recently, right? As I watch my child just take all these like crazy spills, and he rolls and he tumbles and he gets back up and he just keeps going, and he's like a masochist in all the best ways, because he just doesn't want to stop. It's like it's not going to stop him from reaching the goal or the view or that whatever it is that he's trying to attain, whether it's climbing a tree or running or riding a skateboard or a bike, anything that gets him to that goal, to that perspective, to the view from the top of the tree, whatever it is, right? If he has to fall a few times, he's going to get back up, and it's not going to stop him, right? I'll get to those cards. It's not going to stop him, because he's fully aware, and as I watch him, I become more aware that once he gets to that place, right, once he takes that L, once he keeps it moving, he's going to get up into that tree, and he is an amazing climber. I mean, amazing climber. And I believe in him, just like your guides, just like your ancestors, just like your spirit guides, your spirit team, whoever that involves, right, for you. Your higher power believes in you. They believe that no matter how many times, it's not about how many times you've fallen, it's about how many times you're getting back up. Because, right, you're protecting yourself. You're protecting the one thing that is most important to you, and that is your head. You're protecting your mental state, right? What you put into your mind, what you put into your body, what you're feeding your, the main brain that is the thing that controls all of those things, right? Are you spiritually and mentally fit, right? To keep on going, to get back up, to rise again and again. And eventually you're going to reach that goal, right? You're going to get back up, right? Learning how to fall with grace, learning how to get back up with grace, learning how to stay humble and to be to be in that humble state is such a beautiful thing. There is grace in humility. And I've learned that falling so many times, right? Staying humble, right? Getting too ahead of myself and like just being completely grounded, physically, mentally, just like having to take that L and understanding where I could have, some things were in my control and some things were out. But the things that were in my control were silly mistakes that I made. And surely I wasn't going to make them again. Now, the view from the top, right? So my son climbs trees, and I think about this, right? And wherever you are, this is like a metaphor, right? This is all a metaphor for where you are in your journey. I'm only using myself as an example, but you're going to have to fit this where you are on your healing journey. So, wherever he gets to, wherever you're going, it's like you keep getting back up. There's bumps, there's bruises, you have some laughs, you take some L's, you have some lessons, you have some wild successes. You've ran, swam, jumped, skipped. You get to the tree at the end of it, and your mind, you're like, I'm just going to get to the top of this tree after riding my bike and skateboarding and do all these cool things, all these crazy adrenaline rushes. Pushing yourself to learn new things, how to ride a bike, how to do all these cool skateboard tricks, whatever it is, right? I'm just using sports as an example, but, and then you get to the tree and you're like, I'm going to learn how to climb this tree, and you get to the top, and what you notice is that you have a different perspective. You have a different view. You, the same human that is sat at the base of that tree, now is in the tree, and you see things differently. Right? That's the success, is you get to see things differently. Had you not pushed yourself, had you not been uncomfortable, had you not been just a little bit scared and kept on going, you would not have that different view, that different perspective that either you currently have, or will have in the near future, whoever it is that I'm tapping into. So the art of falling, right? That art of falling, of not being scared, of allowing your spirit team to help you back up, to allowing yourself to believe, to say thank you to your spirit team, to say thank you to God, Source, Creator, your higher vibrational energy power, whatever that is for you, for believing in me. Thank you for picking me up, for dusting me off and showing you how to better believe in yourself, right? That is so beautiful and such an important and wonderful lesson, and a great way to sit in gratitude for the journey, right? As it continues to unfold, as it is unfolding, and as it will continue to do so, right? So that was the message I got there. And right, have confidence, right? Have confidence in all of those things. And that's the card here that we have here. Where is, oh, I have my pointer, yay. So is this have confidence card, right? Let's see if I can get my, no, it does not want to focus. It's so funny. Now will you do it? I was trying to pull focus on that. That's funny. Okay, does not matter. So have confidence, right? Have confidence that time is the illusion. Have confidence that peace is already within you. That she's sitting here, you know, walking this tightrope, right? The strength, the balance, you're prepared and tranquil, right? That you have everything that you need, that you're protected from your angels, that you are financially secure, that you know, you're graduating, right? Have confidence that as you learn these lessons, you're graduating, you're becoming more balanced, you're getting the strength that you need, you are prepared. And there's that peace that you get within, right? That healing. This is like the medical sign, but that healing. And it's all this like finely balanced, you know, it makes, it's like the snow-capped mountains in the back, and she's walking this type right through these mountains, right? All the mountains you've climbed, and she's like perfectly balanced, right? Totally content in this, even walking on point, right? And it's because the heart here is balanced. So wherever you are on your journey, just know that as you balance your own heart, right? The peace, the protection, the guidance, all of these things are already within you. They're already all, you know, the confidence is that you are protected. You are the peace that you seek. The time is the illusion. That money is abundant. You are abundant in every way, shape, or form. That you are graduating in every way and learning those lessons. And even the L's are part of the yeses, right? And that is what's the healing. That is the medicine. You are the medicine, right? And so here we go over to self-respect and self-worth, right? It says here, angel, leader, brilliant, worthy, loved, superstar, queen, beautiful, confident angel. And it's self-worth, affirmations, independent, and motivated. And she's sitting here speaking to herself in the mirror, right? Having that self-respect for yourself, knowing that fear is the illusion, right? It is the illusion, and it's about getting back up. It's about dusting yourself off. It's about not how many, the no's are just as important as the yeses. The no's, it's so important to know the no's and to know that those were not losses. Loss is what builds character, right? Have that confidence to know that. Have confidence to know that the lessons that you've learned up until this point were not failures. They were successes because you got up and tried. And you're going to get up and try again, and you're going to continue to do that. And as you continue to learn how to fall with grace, you get up with grace. The point is you got up again. So, doubling back to my messages here today. Nope, this is far back if it goes. Okay. Doubling back to my notes here. My chicken, speaking of my child. Oh, right. So I had written down this little kind of note about like falling and not hitting. Like my dad would say, like, protect your face, right? And protect your face really for me was like protect your head. And I was thinking about it was like when I thought about like the things that he said about like, you know, you can, you know, bones will break, stitches can happen, but your head is the main frame. Like, you know, your sense of self, right? Needs to always be protective. And I always thought of like the bones, like I was thinking about like your bones like being your house, right? Those things are replaceable. Like the material things are replaceable, jobs are replaceable, money's replaceable, houses are replaceable, you know, all of these 3D things, and I thought of them as like parts on my body, are replaceable. But the one thing that I could not replace was, you know, was my head. And the wellness, to be fit mentally and spiritually. Anyways, that was just a little side note for someone out there. If you are in the process of any type of loss, right? If you're in the process of understanding, and it's definitely happened to me, right? I've lost the finances. I've lost the houses. I have lost all of those things. All of those 3D things that I thought were, you know, important to me, they've all been taken from me in one way or another at certain points in my journey. And it did not feel good in the moment, but in hindsight, I understood that those were important factors in my journey and in your journey as well. And if you're going through that, I do sympathize, and I'm telling you, it's not easy. Just know that I always, you know, that is where I dug my heels in, deep into my faith, deep into my spirituality, into whatever that means for you, into your self-worth, into your confidence. And if you have to wake up in the mirror and look at yourself every single day to give yourself that self-respect that you deserve, to know that you are worthy, that you are loved, that you are, you know, confident, brilliant, the leader, the angel, you are protected, you are beautiful, you are the king or the queen of, you know, of your beautiful kingdom. But all of that starts with that beautiful self-confidence, right? Balancing that heart energy and knowing that you are worth it and that everything else is replaceable. And it's funny because even in my darkest days, you know, and I still get caught up in that energy every now and then. It's so easy, right? It's so easy to do that, like that sense of lack. And, you know, it's something I work on and I struggle with occasionally, but not like I used to. And yeah, so wherever you are on that journey, just know that fear is the illusion, right? That if you have or are or will be in the process of loss or losing things, especially material things, have faith, right? Have faith that on your journey, you will look back at this moment and understand why these things are happening, right? I know the term, it came up to me, it's kind of at the bottom of my notes, but it was, God will test you with a little to see what you would do with a lot, right? Whether you believe in God or source or creator or ancestors or angels, it's like, you know, sometimes, and this is this is The Seeds of Success by Og Mandino. And it's just one little line in there, but if that resonates with you, right? Being tested with a little to see what you would do with a lot. Whether it's in loss, whether it's in success. I mean, even a loss is success. And that's something I want you to know, right? 3223, as I said, that mirroring energy. Even a loss is a success. It's that you tried, right? You believed in yourself, and that is part of it. And sometimes that's part of the test, right? That's sometimes part of the test of, well, what do you do in the face of loss? Do you get back up? Because I'll tell you, my successes that I've considered successes in the terms of being, you know, without, I really sat with that and understood what that was for me personally. And I mean, it's so crazy to me to think that, like, you know, I'll be thinking that I'm down to my last couple dollars in the past, or, you know, just metaphorically now, I guess, you know, and it's like, I'm never without. I'll come and there'll be a check in the mail that's like some refund for something I didn't even know that I was going to get. And it's, you know, exactly the amount I need. But I never gave up hope that I would ever be without, right? I never had to sell out or sell myself short or, you know, give in to do things that didn't resonate with me on a soul level to attain that. I know that abundance is mine. So know that abundance is yours in every form. And that sometimes it's a test of, where's my faith? And I have to wake up and remember that I pray, I meditate, I give my thanks, I sit in gratitude for just the little things. Even this morning I woke up and I went for a walk with my dog. And it was like my senses, even though I've lost a little bit of my sense of taste and smell, a little bit, actually a lot of it, since COVID, and it's slowly coming back. I'm so grateful for those moments when it's back, right? And it's not been fully back, but it's slowly coming back. And man, have I missed those senses. And I didn't realize I would even miss them until they were gone. I took them for full on granted. And as they slowly come back, you know, I was sitting there walking my dog and even just like feeling like the plants in my fingers. It was like life was happening in slow motion for me. And to really sit in gratitude just for the waking moment of being present, to be able to be in that moment. That was really a humbling moment. I didn't have to get thrown off my skateboard. I don't have to have those bumps and bruises anymore to realize humility, to sit in gratitude and to be humble and grateful, and to know that just waking up this morning was my gift. And what am I going to do with my 24 hours? What are you, collective, going to do with your 24 hours? A few more here and then we're going to tie it up. Right. Back to my notes. Sorry, I was just reading. It's funny. I wrote, I'm more afraid of not trying, right? It's not the uncomfortable. It's not even failing. It's what if I don't succeed because I'm scared of not even trying? And I think that's the part that freaks me out even more. It's like I'm not even scared, and maybe you're not even scared of, I've learned how to fall, how to fail, quote unquote, and it's never been, I don't look at it as a failure, but I've learned how to take my L's, and I'm currently still learning how to take my L's, but I've learned how to fall with grace and humility, and to take that moment and turn it into my superpower. But what's interesting is I'm realizing now my fear is not of falling. I've learned how to do that. I've learned how to sit with the lessons. It's interesting. My new fear, and it's not really a fear because that is an illusion. I don't believe it is an actual fear. The illusion is I think that I'm actually scared of success. Isn't that interesting? I'm scared of succeeding, which ties back to self-worth and self-respect and having confidence, right? I deserve those things, and I know it. I have worked hard. I've taken so many L's. I've become, the cheerleader of the L squad over here. And I thrive in uncomfortable because I know that's where I'm growing. But what about success? What about being comfortable in the thought of self-respect and worthiness? And I know that those things are me. I am them. But it's taking those moments and sitting in the solitude of gratitude and humility for just waking up this morning that I find that perspective. I find that confidence. And maybe if that's something that you are struggling with, or maybe this is a confirmation or something that maybe, you'll resonate with you in a future energy. But I really feel like this is something that, is happening in the now. But again, time is fluid. So please take it as it proceeds, or, as it resonates with you in whatever way. But just know that I have a few cards fell out over here, and I'm just going to read them to you. If archangels are something that resonates with you, Archangel Raziel, and Uriel. Right? So Archangel Raziel is about enlightenment, adaptable, soulful, and connected, right? Staying connected. And it has that rainbow energy, right? Chakra systems also. And then we have Uriel, right? And that's the gold energy. Raziel, right? Archangel Raziel, number 8. And that is rainbow colored energy. Uriel is number 10. And that is the energy of gold, right? The color gold might have some significance for you. And Archangel Uriel, that here on the card says passion, epiphany, entrepreneur, and driven, right? So if those are archangels or something that resonates with you, maybe calling upon them for that divine energy, that enlightenment, that epiphany moment to find and to be able to bring to surface what it is that is driving you, and how you can, find that connection, that soulful connection, stay adaptable on this enlightenment journey, right, as you tap into those passions. So thank you, archangels, for that beautiful message. And then we had soul groups, spirit relationships, and divine magic, right? Tapping in to whatever those wishes, dreams, and goals are, right? Making that wish, calling upon your angels, calling upon any higher vibrational energies, God, creator, source, universe, angels, ancestors, spirit guides, ascended masters, ancient ones, right? Whatever beautiful higher vibrational energy that you tap into, call upon them, right? The part of the rules in the spirit world and the spirit team, right? If you don't know, you should know that you have to speak it out. You have to put it into existence, whether you journal it, whether you speak it into words, just wishing. It's like, I wish I could, telling someone I wish I could the lotto, but don't buy the ticket. It's like needing the help, asking. I read something, oh, I have it right here. Hold on. So in the Journey Oracle, and maybe I'll pull a card from there and then we'll end it, but the Journey Oracle, it was about receiving, and I read this line, I was like, wow, that's heavy and deep, but it's, to be able to receive, to ask for the help. It says it's easier to give than to receive, right? In giving, we have control, but in receiving, we are open to vulnerability and the unknown. We may wish for things, but feel a sense of unworthiness when they come into our lives. Practice receiving by having gratitude for the gifts already in your life, so that you can open yourself to receiving more. We can only do so much on our own. We cannot control and create everything we need. When we allow ourselves to receive by help or gifts, we make space for magic to come into our lives. Asking for help and then actually allowing it to come into your life, whether these are, in the spirit form with your ancestors, angels, and guides, or whether this is in real life, right? And in your 3D life, asking for that help, calling out, reaching out to trusted friends, family, friends, loved ones, right? Asking for that help, asking for that sounding board, that sound advice from those trusted individuals in your circle, because it does say here, right? Soul groups, reaching out to those soul groups, to those like-minded individuals to validate those wishes, goals, dreams, and accomplishments that you have your, that you have a passion for and that you're feeling driven to, and allowing those reunions, allowing the messages to come in, whether these are from your spirit teams and your guides, or whether this is, from actual friends here, friends, family, and loved ones. Keeping that connection, right? Understanding and being validated and heard. And then we have spirit relationships. And this sits right on the third eye, right? Dipping heavily into that third eye energy, but, listening to your intuition, to following the signs, synchronicities, connections, and divine inspiration. Butterflies might have some significance to you at this time. And let's see. Okay, so there was just a few little words that I got as I was on the trail, and then I really am going to wrap this up. One was don't give up, right? Do not give up. And I said this before, but I said God will test you, right? Whatever energy it is, or, higher vibrational creator, source, universe, God. But don't give up. God will test you with a little to see what you would do with a lot. So don't forget that, collective, whoever you are. And let go and let God, right? Let go and let that source energy creatively flow, right? Trust the process. Understand that for every L you have taken, are taking, or will take, that is part of your no's to get to your yes. Have faith in that. Have faith in the things that you cannot see. Know that the no's are just as important as the yeses. And the yeses, are that much sweeter when you know that you got back up every time that you got back up. You believe in yourself. You picked yourself up. You dusted yourself off. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the last thing I have on there is perfectionism, right? Perfectionism does not exist. Whatever it is that you fear within this sense of fear, which is the illusion, just know that perfect does not exist. And I know we say that, but it's interesting. I was just kind of sitting after my walk. I was sitting in my house and I was thinking, and my guides kind of steered me into the thought of a Persian rug. And I was like, I kind of remember something about a Persian rug. And I was like, what is it about a Persian rug? And then they said something about imperfections. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look it up. So I looked it up. And rugs were a big thing in growing up in our household. My grandfather was very big into, beautiful rugs. And so my mom has a book on it somewhere upstairs on how to identify authentic rugs and blah, 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 handmade rugs. And it's beautiful. I mean, there's such a beautiful art form. It's like it's a piece of art. It's exactly that. So rugs might have some significance in some way, shape, or form to you, or grandparents and rugs. But I looked up what it is about specifically a Persian rug, and why they have an imperfection. So even in the most, in the most high quality Persian rug, I don't know how to say that properly, but in the, best of the best when it comes to, rug making, that is handcrafted, they will sew an imperfection, not into the color of the dye or anything like that, but it will just be one little imperfection. It might be hidden in the flower, or, just like one little stitch off, it will be purposefully sewn into the rug. And I looked into it and I thought it was so interesting, because it said, that the imperfection was to honor Allah, right? God comes in every form, and we all honor God differently. But beautifully, it was speaking about Allah, and how, we are not perfect. We weren't meant to be perfect, right? There's a humility in that. That's what makes us human, is that we are not perfect. We were not created perfect, nor were we ever intended to be perfect. We were intended to make mistakes, and that is in God's image, right? That is in whatever energy you believe in. We are here to make mistakes and to continue to get up and to keep learning. When they talk about perfection, they said that in honor of, right, Allah, God, source energy, it was that God himself or herself or whoever, right, however you want to put that for you, but in the idea of quote unquote God, right, that God was perfection, right, and that we here as humans, right, we are made in God's image. We are perfect in the image that he has created us, which is imperfect. So we strive for the sense of perfection, but perfection doesn't exist. This too is an illusion, right? We strive for what's perfect, but what's perfect is you in this state as you are is perfection. So if I'm here to remind you that you are perfection, perfectly imperfect, made flawed, we are all made flawed. We were all meant to make mistakes, even, as part of the lessons of success. It's just making the mistakes is part of the success, because it's the getting back up. It's understanding how we made the mistakes, why we made the mistakes, and to continue just to strive to be better. That is perfectly imperfect, and that's what makes you uniquely you and beautifully you. And I love you for that. I love you for that. I love you for getting back up, for being bold and brave, and for getting back up and dusting yourself off. And if this particular message resonates with you, I do suggest checking out The Seeds of Success, and it's by Og Mandino, Mandino. And it's not too long. It's not like a book. It's just like a couple paragraphs or so. But it is beautifully written. And I think while it is originally addressed to God, whether, I would say it's more spiritual than it is technically religious. If you just didn't even read the first and last line, though all credit, of course, for me goes to God in that sense, but it's not specific to any one religion. And I honor all religions and walks of spirituality here. Any higher vibrational energy set to help and heal ourselves and others, I honor, love, and respect. So I honor, love, and respect you, whoever you are. And I thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being with me here for this message. Thank you for your beautiful energy that you bring to me in the field of knowing. And yeah, I'm excited to share this energetic space with you. So thank you. If on your way out you like this message, it would be great if you feel called to go ahead and like or subscribe, and I will do my best to put out content when I feel called to. As my life continues to shift, sometimes I find time more often, and sometimes I'm called my energy into other ways, but I will always consistently show up. I don't know how that will be and what that looks like, but I do love being here in this space with you. So I thank you. I thank you for being brave, for being bold, for being courageous and strong. And I love you, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.